PsychCentral.com has an article titled Defining Narcissistic Abuse: The Case for Deception as Abuse. The author says the following: once the narcissist has gained the trust and confidence of the partner, the true self of the narcissist eventually shows itself. The abuser turns on the partner and behaves in cruel ways, such as through verbal abuse, withholding the love and attention that was previously freely given, intentionally manufacturing emotions such as jealousy and insecurity, and engaging in various forms of betrayal. Narcissistic abuse is the intentional construction of a false perception of someone else's reality by an abuser for the purposes of controlling them. It has the following features. The false reality is constructed through elaborate covert deception and psychological manipulation over a long period of time. The false perceptions created are of the abuser as someone who has the survivor's best interests at heart and of the relationship as a beneficial one for the survivor. The goal of the abuse is to allow the narcissist to extract whatever he or she perceives is of value from the partner, including attention, admiration, status, love, sex, money, a place to stay, or other resources. The abuser takes advantage of societal norms that assume everyone participates in social relationships with a basic level of empathy, which makes it easy for the abuser to convince the survivor and everyone else that no abuse is taking place. And because the abuser is hidden using deception, it is difficult for survivors to recognize, understand, and escape it. They go on to say that focusing on deception as the key to understanding narcissistic abuse brings the very thing that makes the abuse possible out into the light. Although narcissistic abusers may also abuse in other ways, they rely on deception to execute their dominance and control, to maintain it, and to avoid being detected as abusers. This is itself abusive and should be recognized as such. So, the effects, then, working with that working definition, of such maltreatment include confusion, self-doubt, anxiety, PTSD, anger, shame, emotional dysregulation, isolation, thoughts of wanting to harm one's self, and so much more. However, it's not your fault that someone else chose this type of violence against you. The people who commit this type of abuse thrive on the fact that it's hard to prove because it leaves no scars. So even if no one else believes you, I believe you, and you deserved better. So let's talk about deception and what that word means. Deceit means trickery, treachery, or lying. A deceiver, they ensnare, they beguile, they cheat. They keep up a false appearance. This person is like an illusion. Being deceitful, being a deceiver, is the quality of being false or misleading. Deception, the act of misleading, a lie, a falsehood. Once again, to ensnare, to beguile, to cheat. Deceitfulness is the work of an adversary. It's gaining something through fraudulence for the purpose of power over another. Deceit is oppressive. It is violence. Psalm 11:5 says, "The Most High tests the righteous and the wicked, and his soul hates one who loves violence." So the word for violence is actually Hamas. I'm sure that sounds familiar these days. And Hamas, in at least one Hebrew lexicon, also means oppression. And narcissistic abuse is violent, even in the absence of physical abuse. Violence is not just a physical thing. When someone deceives you, that is oppressive. When someone mistreats you emotionally, that is violent, especially when this is someone's pattern of behavior, as with a narcissist. And what does it mean to hate biblically? Well, to hate means to turn away from, such as when we are instructed to turn away from those who have the end times character spoken of in 2 Timothy 3, which can be argued is the character of what we call narcissist. And these such people are indeed prevalent in these last days. We are commanded, actually, to hate these people with such evil character, and God hates them too. And by hate, I mean to turn away from them, to mark and avoid. God hides his face from evildoers, and we ought to turn away from them too. Now let's move on, because while narcissists have no redeeming qualities, daffodils, aka narcissus, do. Daffodils do have toxic qualities, and there is something called the vase effect with daffodils. When they are placed in a vase with other cut flowers, it shortens the life of the other cut flowers. But its redeeming qualities are quite great. Daffodils have been used for treating bronchitis and diarrhea. They are currently being studied for their use with Alzheimer's. And for a long time, as in all the way back to the time of Hippocrates, maybe even sooner, they have been used for their anti-cancer benefits.